Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. I am JK, Moderate Texan. This is the Moderate Texan podcast. To my right, that is Money Matt Marr over there, my buddy, my homie, my little brother from another mother. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing swell, Jay. How are you?
It's a great day, man. It's a great day. Made some money, got paid. It's payday today, so my bank account is full. Oh, I got to review some film, so it was a good day. We got some good news coming out regarding people coming home to the United States, aka Brittney Griner, and we got some stuff we get to talk about today. We get to bring people right back to the middle, just like always. How was your day today, Matt?
It was really long, but it's always a good day when you get to finally kick back, relax, talk to friends, enjoy what's left of your day. And I mean, yeah, it's
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you guys know the drill. It has been 12 weeks now that I've been doing this. 13 weeks. 12 if you discount the week that I left out for Thanksgiving. But this is week 13, or we're in week 14 now. Let's talk about we'll talk about what happened with the film today, but let's kind of get the good stuff out of the way here. Eden, what's up, my guy? Good to see you as always. As always, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to hit us up on social media, everything is below in the description. I've also included Ryan's or GM Fanatics information in there, and Jordan, aka Texans Thoughts. His stuff is in there, including his YouTube channel. Give him some support, give him some love. And if you're not in the Texans Thoughts Discord, feel free to join. We are a family in there. I'm loving it. This is where I met my guy Money Matt here. It's been a great time. It's been good stuff. And as always, what do you guys need me to pray for? Put it in the chat. And if you're not wanting to, or putting in the chat or the comments, go ahead and DM me on LinkedIn if you got me there. If you got my number, text me there. If you want to drop it in Twitter, go ahead and drop that there as well. All right. Let's jump into our good segment. I'll let Matt go first today because as we jump into the quick side note, I want to let him go first. He had some experiences a couple weeks ago, y'all. He's about to have another one in Texas. But I'll let him go first. Take it away, Matt.
A couple weeks ago, I had the honor and privilege to go to Houston, Texas to watch my favorite football team, obviously, the Houston Texans, play live. First time since 2019 in the catastrophic AFC divisional round game that was in Kansas City. It was tough, and I'm honestly not going to lie. So when it came time closer for my trip, I started getting nervous, and almost like I already have the game tickets, already had the plane tickets, so it was too late to back out. So I was like, I'm just gonna go down there, try to make the most of it, and have fun. So, but I got down there, and it was a good time. Like, the weather wasn't the greatest, but still made the most of it while I was down there. I met Jay in person while I was down there, so absolutely great guy, top tier. And the atmosphere around like NRG on game day, like while the team is not good at all, like the vibes are just incredible. Like the DJ that's around the second level of the stadium, they vibe all game long. Like they're bouncing back and forth, and they're setting like the entire tone for the crowd, and it's a good time. And just like everyone was getting into it, and then the game happened, and it was more like a Commanders home game, but it was still a good time. I had a lot of fun. Also, I got this little exclusive jersey right here while I was down there, and me and Jay are twinning today because why not? So, I mean, if the Texans win because me and Jay are twinning, like, we may have to do this more often, but it's probably not going to happen, especially with Pep Hamilton calling the plays. But with that being said, let's get into the other side notes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump in real quick. Also, you guys, if you're not watching the Video Game Awards and you didn't register, go ahead and do that. You can try and win a Steam Deck. It's available, so try it. You never know. You never know what could happen. Give me 1 second here as I pull up my notes. All right. So I want to talk about two other things today. The first one is a little less recent than the other one, but we'll talk about this one first. The first situation is Deion Sanders going to Colorado. Right? I know there's a lot of people who's upset about this, particularly in the African American community. And I wanted to kind of provide my thoughts on it. I've had a couple of days to kind of chill out and you know, pay attention and see what's going on. But my big thing here is I feel like people are overblowing this. I am upset about this. I will say this. I am upset about him leaving Jackson State University. But it's not because he's abandoned Black people, right? I want that to be stated, right? I don't believe he's abandoned Black people, right? That would be silly of me to even say or believe, right? That's just silliness. What I do believe the issue is I believe HBCUs, the African American community, and Jackson State University failed Deion Sanders big time. They had an opportunity to make Jackson State University one of the biggest schools in the world and didn't do it. They couldn't. It was, for lack of a better term, not done well. They didn't pay him. They let him pay for stuff and never paid him back. They let his stuff get stolen out of the locker room, which I believe is the last straw, right? They didn't provide the safest of areas. They didn't allow he had to pay for a lot of things like their jerseys, their locker room, their suits, right? He had to leverage all of his stuff to get this team to where they are today. And still he took them and made them undefeated. And still he made these boys men, right? He took these boys and made them men. He gave them a father figure that they didn't have before. I think they did him dirty. I'm happy that he gets an opportunity to take his talents to a bigger school and a bigger conference. But I am sad that at Jackson State University, we're losing out on that father figure, that we're losing out on somebody who has made lives better for people, for families. And he's taught boys how to become men. What do you think on that, Matt? Anything else you got to add to that?
It almost kind of makes me think of the movie Remember the Titans, when the schools converge and like all these kids are under the leadership of Herman Boone. I couldn't remember his name there for a second. And like all of them are pretty immature and like aren't wanting to get along. Well, him and I'm blanking on the other coach's name now, but they get together and they put these kids through hell, and like that brotherhood is bonded. And yeah, it sucks for Jackson State that they're not going to have that anymore, because I feel like being a lower level school, because before Deion Sanders made that school blow up, I personally never heard of Jackson State. But so I don't want to assume anything, but I'd assume it's like not easy to get in that school, but it's not the hardest thing to do. Like I bet, but yeah, because all I know is probably getting into Colorado is a little bit harder than getting into Jackson State. But
I don't think so. They've been around for a while and they're a pretty good school.
Okay.
The thing is though, it's just not a well-known school, right?
Okay.
Until now, right? Until now, they weren't that well-known of a school. And so that's kind of something that needs to be brought into everybody's attention, is that this was not a well-known school. I think the biggest one was Grambling. Maybe after that is Texas Southern because of Michael Strahan, right? Like you don't get a lot of people who knew about HBCUs prior to Deion Sanders going to Jackson State, and then saying things like, "If I ain't who's SWAC if I ain't SWAC," right? Stuff like that. Like that, he brought that swag back to HBCUs, and it is what it is, man. Kind of sucks.
But anyway, it sucks for Jackson State, but if like at the end of the day, like they weren't gonna give Deion what he deserved, and Colorado said, "Hey, why don't you come coach for us?" And he's taking full advantage, so he's getting to move on to the next step. So good for Deion, but it's unfortunate for Jackson State.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. But I am happy for Deion Sanders. I'm happy for Shedeur Sanders and his everybody who's going to be leaving Jackson State, moving to even more coverage in the Pac-12. Hopefully they can play at that competition level, and if they can, Jackson State was legit then, and they should have had a chance at a bowl game if they don't have one already, because they were undefeated and they won the SWAC. What's up, Alpha? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Getting on to the second subject. This is a tough subject because I don't want people to think that I am against what happened today. I want to talk a little bit today about Brittney Griner getting to come home. I don't think it's a bad thing. I want her to be home. I don't want anybody to be held as a prisoner on trumped up charges in another country, right? I know she admitted to what she did. I know she did what she did, and it has whatever penalties it has in Russia, whatever. It is what it is there, right? And I know I don't want to make this political because I really don't like politics. But what I do want to say is I kind of agree with Dave Portnoy in what he said earlier today. This is the worst trade in the history of trades. Bill O'Brien's trade of D-Hop and Jadeveon Clowney are miles better than this. Like, I need y'all to understand how bad this trade is. Somebody else said it earlier. I think it was Eden in the Texans Thoughts Discord mentioned that he sent out a tweet that this was like trading Megan Rapinoe for 2004 Osama bin Laden. You're literally trading a basketball player for the Merchant of Death. That's what he's called, right? That's insane. We take Brittney Griner. I'm happy she's back. I'm happy she's coming home. I'm all for that. But there's another guy that's over there that's been there for 4 years. This is his second presidency that he's over there. 2 years under Trump, 2 years under Biden. And since he's been there longer, why wasn't he first in the order of operations? Why wasn't he first in line? Matt and I were talking about this earlier. Matt, if you were in prison that long, why wouldn't you want to be first, regardless of race or what you are? Like, wouldn't you want to be the first person to come home, right? Why does Brittney Griner get to jump in front? Is it because she's good at shooting a basketball? Not better than DeMarcus Cousins, but is she good at shooting a basketball? Yes. Is she known for being in the WNBA and being the woman that's dunked the most? Yes. Does that mean she should come home before a decorated veteran who was sent by his country and was doing his job in Russia? No, it doesn't. That's why I'm upset. I'm not upset because of race or anything. I don't care about that. I'm happy Brittney Griner is home, but Paul Whelan is still over there. Why? And how are we going to get him back? Absolutely got fleeced. Matt, what do you got to say about that?
I pretty much was going to say exactly what you said. You hit the nail right on the head. And I've even said we got fleeced. Bill O'Brien and Jack Eastby were the ones negotiating the trade, and we lost. But I guess shout out PG for getting to come home, but at what cost? Yeah.
I kind of want to tack on to that also, and we did get fleeced, but I want it to be known that I am for her. I am for her coming back. But what it really shows to me is, as people are saying, it was too hard to bring home Paul Whelan, right? Paul Whelan. It was easier to bring home Brittney Griner. People were in the president's ear and in various people's ears. They got the Merchant of Death, a top 10 most wanted dude in the world, back. And we got back Brittney Griner, right? Like, if anything, it should have been a spy for an international arms dealer, right? That seems closer to a level of trade. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. We can agree to disagree if you don't agree with me. It's upsetting to me, not because she's home, but because of the way in which it was done. Those are my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. We have gotten through our quick side note. Let's jump into some plays, shall we? We watched a little bit of film. We saw some good stuff on screen. Let's see what we can see today. Give me a second here while I pull this up. All right. So I'm gonna start it off before we jump into the film. I want to mention something. We have bagged on the Texans defense all season because they couldn't defend. They let us down so many times. This was not one of those games at all. If I remember correctly, 14 points were scored straight up off of Kyle Allen fumbling and throwing a pick six, I believe, right? So this was not like 14 of, I think they scored 27. 14 of the 27 points weren't even on the defense. It might even actually be 21 of the 27 points might not even be on the defense. That's how bad this is. So let's take a look at this game. Let's take a look at the film. Let's take a look at this first play. All right. So to start off, looks like we got our normal cover two defense here. Looks like cover two man. Hat on a hat. Hat on a hat. Hat on a hat here. Hat on a hat right here. Right. It looks like, or actually, it's hat on a hat over here. We've got our cover two right here. This looks pretty normal. Their line has, they've got 4 receivers, a tight end, or really it's a tight end, 3 receivers, and a running back. And we've got 5 offensive linemen. Space defense going on right here, guys. So let's take a look. Let's see what's going on here. Incomplete pass. All right. So what do you see here, Matt?
I see Deshaun Watson doing Deshaun Watson things because as much as we hate the guy, breaking that first initial sack is what he's best known for. We've seen it in the 2019 wild card against the Buffalo Bills when he made that absolutely magical play and then hit Tywan Jones for, I forgot how big the gain was, but the defense played well this game, but that's something that we've got to do better on is bringing the man down with that first hit.
Facts. I think it's interesting because wasn't Jerry Hughes involved in that play as well?
I believe so.
That's the person who missed that sack here. So it's twice Deshaun Watson's done him dirty. Shades of 2019 against the Bills playoff game, as you said, right? This is you've got to sack him here. It's still an incomplete pass. It's a good play. It is on 3rd down. Both of our outside rushers get good bend here, and they get in. Look at that. They're there at him, but you got to wrap them up. You got to bring them down. Good job by Tavier Thomas to come up and force that throw earlier and make things harder for him. Deshaun Watson, this throw is more of Deshaun Watson not being full Deshaun Watson yet. And instead of the defense being really awesome here. Now, did Deshaun Watson have anybody open? Really, no. This is probably a slide in pick, covered. I guess he has Chubb out here, maybe. Not really though. When this play is broken down, the only person he really has open is over here on the opposite side of the field. And based on how Deshaun Watson played after 700 days, I don't expect him to make this throw on the opposite side of the field. There's no Tyron Jones there to break him out this time. So that was play one. I think it's a good play by the defense. I do wish they would have gotten the sack instead. But this is a good, solid play by the defense. If you guys disagree, feel free to put that in the chat. Let's get to play two. Went a little too far. All right. While we're doing that, let me check over here and see if I've won a Steam Deck yet. Does not appear so. All right. Let's get to play two here real quick. All right. So this play is a great play. Now I apologize. I don't know what's going on with NFL Plus, but hey, the all 22 has been funky. But we see the play here. Tavierre Thomas comes back and immediately is making an impact. I mean, immediately. Matt, what do you see here, man?
Tavierre Thomas, dog. Hopefully he's the player that we keep around for a good duration of this rebuild, because as we see here, he just comes out of nowhere and boom, punches that ball out, and Desmond King's there for the recovery. So love to see it. Defense played great this game, but still couldn't come away with the W, but we look at all the bright sides.
Yeah. My thing here is hustle. Tavierre Thomas comes from outside the numbers, right? This isn't even his man. He hustles to get this. Look, I want y'all to see it from this angle. Look, he's outside the numbers. He hustles, comes from behind, and punches that ball out. We know that Lovie Smith has been teaching this, right? We've been seeing the players trying to do this more and more and more. And it knocks the ball out, and it gets us the turnover. As Chisel Adonis, another YouTuber, likes to say, the apple to turnover. That's exactly what happened here. Great play by Tavierre Thomas. And the D is honestly what kept us in the game up to this point. Right? It's still 0-0. So good stuff here from the D. It gets us our first points on offense. All right. Let's get to another play. This is going to be mainly defensive heavy, guys, because the offense was. So let's get to the defense. Let's get to this next play. I apologize off the rip here for bad camera stuff. The camera again has been, I don't know what's going on with the all 22 stuff, but it is not at its best. All right. So let's look off the rip. We've got a couple receivers in, but everybody's kind of stacked up on the line. It's bunched up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 offensive linemen. Pharaoh Brown is obviously in for blocking here. He's probably ain't got a block. Then we got, I think that's Amari Cooper out wide. If you guys don't notice, this is the exact play later in the game that we'll talk about that the Browns ran on the goal line 4 straight plays in a row. So let's look at this play, right? We're kind of confused still. Looks like Nelson is guarding Cooper. King is here on, it might be Donovan Peoples-Jones right there. I can't quite tell. Looks like we got one high in Petrie up there, and then the rest are linebackers. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what happens here. We'll get to the other angle because that's much better looking. Matt, what do you see on this play?
I seen Nick Chubb just absolutely manhandle. I don't even know how many defenders and carried how many for about 15 yards, which is kind of embarrassing.
Embarrassing doesn't even begin to describe it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dudes are on him right now. Why is he not getting tackled? Why are we allowing him to
push that pile there for a second?
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, tackle the man. I understand we're trying to get the ball out of his hands. but you got to tackle him. You got to tackle. You have to bring him down. And I think part of it is, for those of y'all who play Madden, you know that, and I'm not very good at Madden, so I know a little bit about this, just a little bit. But in Madden, you have two types of tackles. You can tackle the person, or three types of tackles. You can hit stick the person. You can just straight up tackle them, arm tackle, or like grab tackle, or you can try and rip the ball out. If you try and rip the ball out, that running back or whoever is going to be allowed to go for an extra couple of yards. It's kind of a rock, paper, scissors thing, right? That's what's happening here, right? They're trying to rip the ball out. They're not trying to tackle. You can see them, hands on the ball, trying to rip it out. Tackle them. If he's gone 2 yards more, 3 yards more, stop. Tackle the man. And that's an issue, right? That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing the Texans not tackle. We're seeing them continue to try and get turnovers, and I'm all for the turnover, but y'all, you got to tackle. You got to tackle. Got to do it. All right. Anything else you saw, Matt, before we move on to the next play?
Nope.
All right. Let's move on to the next play. This next play is less of me upset with the Texans and more of me real happy. So let's take a look at this play. It's a little corrupted. I apologize again. But yo, the play is sweet, y'all. I'm gonna start it off this time. I need y'all to understand. For those again who play Madden, you guys know what a user lurk is. You know what the user lurk is. The user lurk is where you get out there, you lurk you kind of move your safety or your man around, and you lurk a pick. You get a pick and you've lurked it, right? You're kind of standing in the area and then you cut over right at the last second and lurk it. That is what's happening here. That is what Petrie does. A couple of weeks ago, he got looked off. We saw that in the Raiders game. He gets looked off the ball and it causes a pick or it causes a touchdown. This time, that ain't it, Chief. I want you to look here. Woohoo! I think it was John, what's his face from our sideline reporter?
John Harris.
John Harris. Harris kind of called this out earlier in his breakdown. He talks about how Petrie and Peoples-Jones is supposed to kind of pull Petrie out there. And you can kind of see Watson is not looking that direction. If Watson had been looking at Peoples-Jones, I think Petrie would have had to respect that. And this probably would have been a touchdown. But look at Watson's eyes. He's looking over here. And look at where Petrie's looking. Petrie's looking right here at Watson. Because Watson's staring it down, he sees the load up. He lurks it, and beautiful. And that was a good throw, by the way, too. That throw was on the money to Cooper. But Watson had a little bit of Davis Mills in him at that one. He stared down that receiver. And it allows for a great user lurk. What do you see there, Matt? You see anything else?
That's what happens when you don't play in 700 days. You get a little rusty, and I don't think he was expecting Jalen Petrie to be that refined this early in his career and be able to be that disciplined to stay in his area, stay in his zone and lurk that. But he learned the hard way. And about the only problem I have with so far Petrie's interception here and Stingley's interception in Jacksonville, which I'm not as mad about this one because I think he'd manage to get back to the 25 or whatever. But and coming out of the end zone, he had the lane, so I'm not too upset with it. But most of the time, if you get a pick in the end zone, just stay in the end zone, take the 3 yards. But he made up for by getting back, so that's.
Yeah, if we go back to the other angle, it's probably better if he takes this pick. It's probably better if he takes it outside the numbers here, and goes to the sideline rather than cutting back across the field because he had blockers on the outside there. But yeah, I agree. He probably should have stayed in the end zone here. But still, Petrie with his third pick, and I would like to petition that we start doing this or this or this every time Petrie makes a play. The man has been laying the wood. The man has been getting interceptions. He's got the second most. He's third in Texans history for most interceptions by a rookie.
Most in tackles.
Most in tackles ever. I mean, in Texans history. That's insane, right? Put it up. Put up the fives, yo. Put it up. All right. Let's move on to the next play here. Let's see what's going on here. I'm a little too far. Boom. Right on the money. All right. So look at this next play. It's Grant Delpit, right? I think I learned his name today because he got put through the spin cycle. Delpit got abused all game long. Why? By Dameon Pierce. All game long. I know all season we've been saying Dameon Pierce is a dog. But Dameon Pierce is a dog, y'all. The man's insane. He's angry. He runs angry. But he runs with a skill, right? He runs in a way that keeps him on his feet, and that's controlled. It's beautiful. I don't want him to take too much more punishment, but yo, he's the reason I watch the games. He's the reason I go, because I like to see him. I like to see him play. I know he didn't have a good 2 games before this, but yo, he played great here. What you think, Matt?
Dameon Pierce is just doing Dameon Pierce things. Like, we've seen this like every game we've watched film for. The man's a monster. And with the O-line he has, it's not great. So it's a miracle he's putting up the numbers he is. And he's getting heavily overshadowed for Offensive Rookie of the Year simply because Kenneth Walker was putting up big numbers because like he's having a more overall team success and he's got a better line. Breece Hall, like all these guys are studs, don't get me wrong. But Breece Hall, didn't get a whole lot of action early, but when he came in, he was putting up big numbers and his team's having a lot of success, so he's getting a lot of big recognition. Dameon Pierce is pretty much doing this with little to no recognition. So if we just get like a couple better pieces on our offensive line, then he's gonna be putting up bigger and better numbers with overall yards and touchdowns. So, but at this point, I'm almost willing to just run Wildcat for the rest of the season, send Dare or Benjamin out there to be QB1. We can have like a little pitch option.
Agreed. Well, Mills was going to be out there, so yeah, it is what it is. But one thing I'll say here that I don't know if is really thought about in this play. One, I believe this is Akins on Clowney here. Yeah, that's not bad by Akins on Clowney. But also, this was a terribly run play because Chris Moore is got to stop Delpit here. He doesn't even have the time, right? Like he just got there. He doesn't have time to do anything. And this play is supposed to go out. No, that was never going to work. And if it's supposed to cut back in, if this would have been David Johnson, he'd have been sacked or tackled for a loss. Because he didn't get there in time. This is all Dameon Pierce. All Dameon Pierce here. That is just great running by the rookie. Great balance, great movement, just everything. Great everything by the rookie. All right, let's get to the next play here. This one's going to be in the second half. We're moving ahead a bit here. Boom. All right. Again, the ugly stuff. So let's look at it. Looks like we've got cover 1 going on here. Possible blitz incoming. We got 5 on the line. Yeah, this looks like that. Let's see what's going on here. All right. This is ugly looking, but Matt, what do you see here?
Honestly, not much. This all 22 got me bugging.
Yeah, let's try and get to the other angle so we can get a better view here. At least to the front 7. All right. Well, you see anything there?
I think Christian Harris probably should have had a pick.
Yeah, he steps in front. I think that's a great play by the rookie. But yeah, this was. I really wish the other angle was better looking, because what I really wanted you to see is this. Nothing is open. Look at that. Sticky coverage. A good bend on the back here. Look at this. Edges are taken care of. If Watson runs, he's lit up. He's got nowhere to throw this ball to. He could throw that to Donovan Peoples-Jones, but if he does, Petry's got another lurk.
Petry's either lurking that or Donovan Peoples-Jones is dying around the 45.
Yeah, he's gonna get lit up. We saw Cooper get lit up earlier, or later in this game, but good grief. That would have been an ugly throw. So we see here, look at this. Look. Locked. Nothing is open. The secondary played well. Our defense played well. That's what we've been wanting to see all season. Now, Chubb did gash us. They got a lot of rushing yards on us. I think it was 164 or something like that against us. But we stood tall pretty much all game. We didn't allow more than 6 points on defense. 21 points came from special teams, came from two offensive drives where we had a pick six and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Defense could have done much more. They only gave up 6 points. It's unfortunate. All right, let's get to this next play. Let's move ahead. 306. All right. Now, this whole game, I was supremely frustrated with Kyle Allen all game. And I actually want to go back real quick to this. Pierce would be I do agree with Alpha here. Pierce would be getting recognized a lot more if we were winning. A lot more if we were winning. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's move ahead here. Let's see what's going on. Things may be bugging here, but I can still see this. Two open receivers. Look at that. And you couldn't hit either one of them. What do you see here, Matt?
Between Kyle Allen overthrowing receivers all the time and Davis Mills underthrowing them all the time, I don't know which is worse, honestly. But it's bad.
I mean, I need y'all to see how much he overthrew. Like, Nico Collins is 6'4", and he's all of 6'4".
I think he needed to be at least 7'4" to catch that ball.
Look at that. He needs to be an entire 5 inches taller and have a 5-inch vertical. He needs 10 more inches to catch this ball cleanly. Why? Why is this so far overthrown? The way this ball is thrown is almost like he's trying to hit Chris Moore on the other side here. This is a perfect ball for Chris Moore if he throws this on the other side. I don't understand what's happening here.
If I'm not wrong, it looked like that pass was a little behind Nico, too.
It was definitely behind him. It was way high and way behind. I don't know what he thinks Nico's got in terms of vertical, but it ain't that. I don't know if LeBron James could have caught that ball. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. But this was what was frustrating all day. It's not that the Texans played badly. The defense played phenomenal. It's not like the rest of the offense played bad. They played great. I will say the play calling was kind of like on that end zone. Why didn't we run 3 times there? Because we had been gashing them all game with the run. Dare and
Also,
Pierce.
I would like to point out here, if it's not for Eno Benjamin, Kyle Allen probably gets blown up by Myles Garrett.
Oh, facts. Look at that. Eno Benjamin putting his body on the line there. Putting his body on the line. Look at this right here. This man tried to stand in his way, and it didn't really work out for him, but it was enough. It was enough. But here's what I really want you to see. Look at Philip Dorsett. Look at it. Look at how bad that is. Like, you could tell it's bad. Yeah, I know we're tanking Alpha. I know. But yeah, Pep didn't call the worst plays. There were some decent plays there. That throw to Tegan Cotoriano was off, right? That he was open and he would have jetted away. He was killing it. There were a couple of plays where Tegan Cotoriano was also open and he was running the exact same route that we saw OJ Howard running earlier in the season. But yeah, it was just bad play. It was just bad play indeed. Let me go ahead and let's move forward here. Let's get off of this play because it's just ugly. I don't like it. Makes me sick. All right. Let's get to the last play that we're going to look at. And it is at 1:11:25. All right. Now, in stadium, I had already left. Uh-oh. We're going to get a little bit of a shutdown. Oh, we did. We got to restart. 1:11. Oh, come on. 1:11:24. There we go. All right. So let's look at this real quick. Here it is. Boom. Tutty Nico Collins. I can't say that this was a great throw because it wasn't. It was terrible. It was behind him. He didn't throw it into a spot where Nico had the best chance to win. He throws it into a spot where the CB has a chance to come back for it. But come on now. Nico Collins, 10 targets, only 3 receptions and a tutty. If this had been anything of a better quarterback, he'd have had an Amon-Ra St. Brown type day. Where everybody talks about how Amon-Ra St. Brown is better than Nico Collins. It's because he's had a better quarterback. He's open. We saw what he did to J.C. Jackson. We saw what he did to every other corner that's been on him. He burns them. Makes them look bad. Gets the tutty here. What do you see here, Matt? What do you think?
I think that's number 23 guarding Nico. I'd say that was probably a 70-30 ball in favor of the defender. That ball was pretty much thrown straight at the defender's chest. So Nico won this route and the play based off his sheer size and athleticism, because there's no way any of our other wide receivers are making that play.
Look at that. And his arm it's at his elbow. Look at it. He has to come back for the ball.
That is ridiculous. Any other quarterback with any sort of pass placement would have either led him more, because if you put that ball right around the S a little sooner, that's easy touchdown. Yeah. Even if you float it up a little bit more to where it's a jump ball, that easily favors Nico, because I think it looks like Nico's probably got like a 4 to 5 inch height advantage on that defender.
Yeah.
But the fact that he threw it straight at the defender's chest and Nico still won that route is impressive. Exactly.
This is the problem, right? Like, both quarterbacks have played bad. Kyle Allen is more willing to take the throw down the field. Unfortunately, he's not good at it. He keeps overthrowing. And that's unfortunate, right? It is what it is there. I'm going to take a look at Tegan Cotoriano, see what he's doing over here. Tegan was open as well. So it is what it is. It was ugly. The film was ugly, y'all. It wasn't that great for the offense. But I do want to go back real quick, and I want to show some love to my man Tegan Cotoriano here. Let me get to 1636. Actually, let's go to 301 first. Give me a second here. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead here. Let me play this play real quick. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at Tegan Cotoriano here. One-on-one with Clowney. One-on-one with Clowney. One-on-one with Clowney. Look at that. He's holding them up. One-on-one, there's no help there. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Tegan Cotoriano. I'm going to keep showing more and more plays of him because I don't think he gets enough love, but he's a blocking tight end, y'all, and he can catch. I call him Baby Gronk for a reason. The man looks good. He's looking very good. Looking very good. Let's get to this next play because I wanted to see this one too. 16:36. All right, let's look at this play real quick. I need y'all to see that. I need y'all to see it real quick. What just happened? I need y'all to look at the bottom of the screen right here at Tegan Cotoriano. Look at that. Look at that pancake. We haven't seen blocking like this from a tight end since Owen Daniels or CJ Fedorowicz. Just handled 28. Handles him. Tegan Cotoriano, y'all, he's the truth. He's the truth. He's a good dude. He's good. I'm telling y'all, y'all need to start looking at him. All right. Let's jump into the conclusion here. I wanted to look at some stuff. The fumble. I don't want to show that play because it was ugly. I've tried to show as few bad plays as possible. But that fumble by Kyle Allen in the end zone, terrible. That should have never happened. It was horrible. It was horrible stuff. But I don't think that Kyle Allen and Davis Mills' play puts Nick on the hot seat. What do you think, Matt? Do you think that's true? Do you agree with Joey?
I don't think Nick is on the hot seat quite yet because people are wanting like instant results, and I get why they want to say Nick's on the hot seat, but you just gotta let it play out because we're still like a couple months after the Jack Hughes firing, so we don't really know how Nick's been acting, but because we know Jack and Nick were close, but and plus with just the play calling and the overall play we've seen from our quarterbacks, like we thought we could have had something with Davis Mills. It's clear we didn't. We signed Kyle Allen hoping he could be. Oh, hang on, I checked that. We'll do Alpha, but I lost my train of thought.
Nick on the hot seat.
Oh, yeah, Nick on the hot seat. But I think he needs at least another year or two to fully determine what like his intentions are with this roster, because we're not even all the way through with the Watson compensation yet. We still have 4 more picks from that trade that we have to use. So depending on how much control he has hiring the next head coach, which we'll talk about that in a second, and what his is, I think he just needs more time.
I agree. I can't say Nick is on the hot seat. I can't say that he even deserves to be on the hot seat. Nick has done nothing. He hasn't had the time. He's had one full draft. That's it. He's had one draft. The last one was half a draft that he inherited, and he came in halfway through or 3/4 of the way through the offseason. He didn't even have his own scouts. So that first draft was just off the cuff. He gets Nico Collins out of that. He gets Davis Mills out of that. He gets Roy Lopez. Not saying that Davis Mills and Roy Lopez are amazing, but that's what he gets, right?
He got Garrett Wallow. He's been solid.
He got. Is he? I mean, he's okay. I mean, he's good for special teams.
Okay. But special teamer.
But it's The problem is that he didn't really get a good first draft. He didn't get a good first head coach round. Like, he came in after everything had kind of happened. Like, he didn't really have control. Second draft is this one. He still doesn't have full control. He doesn't get to pick the coach he wants. He gets his draft though, and he does a pretty good job of picking what he can pick. It's his first year, and these are all rookies. Did he get Brevin? Yeah, he got Brevin in that draft, but again, he only had like 5 picks from the 3rd round on. Brevin needs to be cut, though. We need to talk about that too. Brevin needs to be cut. He should never play again. Like, he should not be playing for the Texans anymore. But he hasn't had any time to be put on the hot seat yet. Like, that's not even fair to put him on the hot seat yet for this. With that being said, like I said, it was just bad play from a lot of players. Brevin probably had his best game, but he still can't catch the ball. Man has hands like feet. Let's move on, though, to the side that did play pretty well. The defense played very well this game. There were some plays, obviously, but the D played very, very well. Without Stingley, with Tavier Thomas and Derek King in, this was good play. They didn't have all their starters. They played extremely well. And that's what we want to see from the D and from the Texans moving forward. I still don't think we're as bad a team as our record is. I think we're playing way worse than what we should be. Like, we should be playing a lot better than this. I think that comes down to coaching, to play calling, to hesitancy and conservatism. I think we're not playing with our heads on fire, and I think that's a big problem. What do you think, Matt?
I completely agree.
Good stuff. Rookies. The rookies continue to light it up. Continue to go ham. Tegan Cotoriano, Chris Harris, Damian Pierce, right? Those 3 have been phenomenal. Jalen Petrie, another picks off Deshaun Watson, who didn't play great, but he still picked him off. Great stuff. I mean, our rookies are playing well. Are they the best of the best? No, they're pretty dang good. Damian Pierce is in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You've got Jalen Petrie, who's one of the best rookie safeties out there. I mean, you've got a lot of good rookie play. Anything to add on that, Matt?
The future is bright for this Texans team, and it's only getting brighter with the upcoming draft, as we could potentially have the number 1 pick and an early pick in the teams. So hopefully the Browns lose out and everyone between us and the Browns win out. So that way we could potentially have 2 top 10, maybe even top 5 picks.
That would be amazing. I would like that a lot. Give me that, please. 2 top 5 picks. That guarantees us whoever the heck we want, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Get Jalen Carter and Will Anderson.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I doubt we get them both, but that would be nice. Man
can dream.
Let's move on to the person that is on our jerseys, Derek Stingley. What do we think is going to happen with him going forward? What do you think, Matt, for the rest of the season?
I almost think we keep him sidelined simply so we don't have to deal with him getting injured again, possibly worse than what he already has been. Because we got lucky that was just a hamstring strain or whatever that he's got going on right now. So I say let him sit out the rest. Well, I don't know if I want him sitting out the rest of the year or not, because I would like him to get as much action as possible. But at the same time, I don't want him getting banged up and beaten over a lost season. So it's really, a coach's call that I don't know if I trust our coaches to make, but I'm just a fan, so I don't have any say in the situation, but it'll be interesting to see how they play the Derek Stingley situation. I would like to see him back on the field as soon as possible, but with a lost season, it's hard telling.
Yeah. I do honestly think they kind of keep him out for the rest of the year. I kind of agree with you on that. I think he doesn't. I think he's Alpha. Get good at sniping. Get good, bro. I do think Stingley is out the rest of the season. I think they try and protect him and let him come back fully healthy next season. It's sad because I don't want to see that. I would like to see Stingley out there playing. But yeah, I think he's out the rest of the season. It's unfortunate, but I think that's what's going on. Next head coach. I wanted to talk about this real quick. I know a lot of people who want, well, really, we believe that Lovey is probably going to be fired at the end of the year, right? I think this is just me. I'm gonna throw this out there. I think DeMeco Ryans should probably be our next head coach. And I think he should come in. I think I actually posted this in our Discord, in the Texans Thoughts Discord, who I thought should be our coaching candidates. And if somebody can get there faster than me, let me know, because I do not remember what I said because I've slept since then. Let me see. Who did I say? I know I had mentioned Ryans. Oh, I mentioned the head coach, or the head coach should be DeMeco Ryans. Our offensive coordinator should be the quarterback's coach for the Eagles. And our defensive coordinator, who did I say the defensive? Oh, Gerard Mayo for defensive coordinator. I don't think that's a pretty dang good. That's a pretty dang good list of coaches right there, and I think that would serve us pretty well. But yeah, what do you think, Matt? Who do you think should be the next head coach? What do you think we should do at coach? What kind of coach should we get?
See, I feel like we can go either a defensive-minded head coach, because we have a ton of young pieces over there on the defensive side of the ball that would really benefit from a defensive-minded head coach. But with the upcoming draft and us possibly adding a new quarterback and potentially getting a new young wide receiver to pair alongside with Nico Collins, because we know Brandon Cooks probably won't be here for the next season, I think we could really benefit from an offensive-minded coach as well. So we really have a really attractive job, because with defensive side of the ball, Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley, Christian Harris, the scenarios are endless. With the offensive side of the ball, potentially getting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson, whoever you fancy, and then Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston. It would be a head coach's dream to coach here, honestly. So, defensive-minded head coach, I'm definitely on the DeMeco Ryan train. But for offensive side of the ball, give me Kellen Moore. The Cowboys consistently have a top-tier offense. And earlier this year, when Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott went down, they had Cooper Rush and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is just as good, if not better than Zeke, in my opinion. But still, Cooper Rush nonetheless. And they were still winning games. That's mind-blowing to me. And I heard someone say that they don't think they'd want Kellen Moore because he seemed more quiet and off-putting and kind of kept to himself. Look at Mike McDaniels. Everyone thought that about him in San Francisco. Now he's one of the most outspoken coaches in the league, and he's having a ton of fun with Tua and his guys. So
Yeah.
Give me that.
On that note, I know there's also people who are saying they worry about who someone like Kellen, like who is he going to get for his staff, right? Like how could he do that? Mike McDaniel had the same questions. Who is he going to bring to Miami? How is he going to, like, what coaching staff is he going to have? How is that going to work? And look at what Miami's doing right now. Dominating. They are legit right now. So I think all that talk needs to stop. I know a lot of people have talked about him being not able to be a leader of men, being too soft-spoken. Let's leave that alone. The man's a coach right now, and he's done very well with that offense. I think he deserves the shot, and I'd be happy with it. First pick of the draft. I know everybody has said it's got to be Bryce, right? Or they said it's got to be a trade back, or they said it's got to be Will Anderson, or it's got to be Jalen Carter. What do you think it should be, Matt?
Personally, I'm on the Bryce Young train. Like, I know there's a lot of question about his size, but I really don't care about that because a lot of people were saying that about Devontae Smith coming out of Alabama. Like, I know it's two completely different position groups, but people thought he were going to get blown up because he's a small wide receiver. People were saying that about Kyler Murray, and they're not all wrong because he hasn't been good as of late, but gotta give him some time. Like, the new Call of Duty just came out. Like, just give him some time. But when he came in, like, he was killing it, honestly. Like, I had him on my fantasy team a couple years. Killed it. Like, he was constantly, like, getting probably, like, 2 passing touchdowns a game, maybe. Like, a couple rushing touchdowns every couple of games. Like, dude killed it. So with a better offensive line, like, and having Dameon Pierce in the backfield, any quarterback can succeed. But right now, my options are wide open between Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or even a trade back. So,
yeah, I think I would love to see. I think I would love to see Bryce. I think he is the second coming of Deshaun Watson without the ugly stuff that we know, right? The allegations of being the booty bandit, right? I think he's a great player. Size is something that I worry about. I know I've had a lot of debates with people in the Texans Thoughts Discord about size, particularly when it comes to basketball with like Victor Wembanyama. But honestly, Stroud is bigger. He's not better, but I think he's bigger, and I think he has the opportunity to grow still as well. And I do honestly, I have this feeling that that's who the Texans take. Especially if they get D'Amico Ryans, I have a feeling that they just go for Stroud. And I say that mainly because I think Nick is not going to want a smaller quarterback. He's known for getting bigger quarterbacks, and that's Levis and that's Stroud and Anthony Richardson. And I think he goes more for Stroud or Levis, and I think he probably goes for Stroud. But I think his best bet would be to go for Bryce. That's what I would think. Or trade back. Especially if you get a big old haul of picks. If you get 3 first-round picks this year, trade back. Do it. Trade back as fast as you possibly can, because that's 4 first-round picks this year plus the 32nd pick in the draft. That's crazy. That'd be insane. That's how I look at it. But I'm personally, I would like to see Bryce, but I think it's going to be Stroud, obviously, if we stay with that first pick. Let's move forward here.
Looking at these comments here, I'm gonna need Eden to stop with that.
Yeah.
Stroud's gonna ball out and defeat Georgia. Like, I'm gonna need you to stop with that right now, because go Dogs, baby. We going back to back.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I think Stroud gets exposed, and I think this causes his draft stock to fall big time. I think he gets exposed versus Georgia. I think Georgia just manhandles him, and Stroud goes off on a bad note. And I think that makes him look bad. And it's unfortunate, but I think that's what's going to end up happening. That's just me. Go ahead.
It'll be interesting to see because we already know that Jackson Smith and Jigba isn't going to be playing in this game since he's declared for the NFL draft. So about the only thing he'll have going for him is his offensive line.
Yeah. You good? Oh, got something happened there. But yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, yeah, he wouldn't have a lot here in Houston. But yeah, I do think Stroud here would be hindered a lot more. I think Bryce would be the better bet. So that's just my thoughts. It'd probably be better to go with Bryce. But yeah, I don't think Stroud's going to shock the world. I think he's going to get blown up, and it's going to be ugly. Uglier than we thought. What were you saying, Matt, before you had to drop off?
Sorry about that. My AirPod died. And but yeah, so he'll have his offensive line and Marvin Harrison Jr. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares against that 11-man monster that is the Georgia Bulldogs defense, led by so many young athletic freaks like Jalen Carter, Tyke Smith, Christopher Smith, Keely Ringo. I'm almost willing to bet that Keely Ringo has Marvin Harrison on lock and key. So if Stroud wants this game, he's really going to have to get in his bag and work for it, or else it's like I'm predicting a Georgia-Michigan national championship.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually think TCU shocks the world.
TCU's fun and exciting, especially because they've got Max Duggan, who, after that heartbreaking loss, is an absolute he's an absolute favorite for anyone who watches college football or football in general. Yeah. Like, such a humble kid. Like, it'll be fun to watch him play. And I would like TCU to win, but personally, I think Michigan has the advantage and they'll beat TCU. But
yeah, I think I have a feeling that TCU shocks the world, goes to the national championship, and then gets blown out. Just that's kind of how I feel there. I don't want it to happen, but I think it happens. Any other questions you guys have? We could talk all day about, the Natty. We could talk all day about the college football playoffs, but Video Game Awards is on. Thursday Night Football is on. You know how it is. The Spurs are playing the Rockets. Go Spurs, go. It's a good day, y'all. It's a good Thursday. Any other questions? Any other questions y'all got for me? If y'all do, put them in the chat. Also, I do want to address this comment real quick. Alpha, this is unacceptable, bro. You know that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is cross-platform. Like, I can play you on PC and you play on PS5, right? I don't have to have the game on PS5, right? So, like, even if he has Xbox or PC, he can play us. Like, he can play against you. There, don't be scared just because he doesn't have a PS5. Like,
yeah, we're playing Modern Warfare 2 and I'm not invited.
Yo, jump in. Jump in. The problem is
I'm terrible, but
I play hardcore.
Hey,
Alpha's too scared to do it. So, because he gets shot. And that's just how it is. It's just how it is. All right, y'all. We're going to drop for the night. It was a fun time. Y'all know how it is. We looked through the darkness. We kind of found a little bit of light there. We had a lot of fun. We all came right back to the middle. It's been fun, y'all. We'll see you next week with some more film breakdown, with a little bit more calming down and a little bit more middle talk. Yeah, you did hear me call out Alpha. I'll see y'all next week. Peace out, y'all.